Dabbing peeps and spellbinders, my name is Courtney Diaz and I am so happy to be back with you on the Spellbinders channel. Today I'll be showing you a quirky little project using the Making Faces range. We are going to be making washi tape holders and we're going to make some fun little creatures using the journal tattoos. Mainly these two sheets are going to be the ones that I focus on today, and this beautiful stencil, but I'm going to be using it in an unusual way. So we're just going to be using this part here, and that's going to be the head of our monster. I'm going to be using an array of the Making Faces range, using watercolors. We're going to use the drama sticks. We're going to use it all to make some really fun backgrounds for our washi bookmarks. Now these bookmarks can be used as bookmarks in your planners and your journals. They can be used to stick down your post-it notes. Because we're going to be laminating them, they can be reused and they'll be nice and sturdy for you to use in your journals and planners. But I like to send these off to pen pals in snail mail and wrap washi tape around them, and it means that I'm, you know, creating something extra for them that they can keep and reuse for themselves, instead of just putting them on like a gift card or something like that, like a spare old card that you guys have around. I think this is a fun and cute way to make something extra and as a little special something in some happy mail. But you can also make these for yourselves. I have many of these versions of these in my own pencil cases and journals, but I just thought it would be a fun little gift idea for you to make for a pen pal or a loved one. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to be making a colorful background for our monsters to live on. But what I want to do first is to trace out the head of my monster. Now I'm going to just move a few of these things out of the way. I will be doing an in speed part as I create the background, but I'm just going to show you that all I really want to do is I want to push. I have a piece of cardstock under here that I'm going to be using, and I've got it in the middle. So all I want to do is to trace out that design right there. I'm not including the ears. I don't want the ears in my design. We are going to create our own ears with the journal tattoos, and as you can see there, that's all the only shape on my card that I want. And then I'm going to be getting a ruler and going down here. Now if you don't have the stencils, you can definitely make your own shape face. I just found that this to be the easiest way to create the instant head of our creature, and it's a good size. You can make them bigger or smaller depending, but I like the look of the chin as the head. I do sort of clean it up a little bit and make it less sort of egg shaped for my monsters, but it means that these lines here are perfect for when we use the masquerade masks as our ears. So I'm going to pop into speed mode and add a voiceover for you guys. So grab out your Making Faces supplies and let's get started. You can, if you want, to gesso this if you want. I think I probably will gesso this once I've cut it all out. I'm going to be grabbing a ruler now just to add my lines right to the end so that you have a bookmark shape with a head here. But what I do want to make sure is that I have my ears on. So before you cut anything out, so we're going to be cutting this down, and then we're going to be using our rub-ons, which I'm about to show you, as ears. And that way when you cut your bookmark out, your ears are part of that, instead of having to attach them later on. So I will show you that in the speed up clip. Let's get started. Grabbing our masquerade masks, these are the journal tattoos that I was focusing on. I only want to use the ears from one set, and then this mask I'm cutting in half and turning them upside down, and they will become the ears for our monster. Not your usual use and probably not everyone's favorite, but I love to find unique different ways to use Jane's things, and making monsters is my favorite pastime.
I popped those down on our bookmark only because I know I want to cut these out soon and I wanted to make sure that they were attached. I'm just using a bone folder, but in the pack comes a paddle pop stick. I just happened to have misplaced that, so I grabbed my bone folder and that works just as well. Any blunt surface like the edge of your scissors or anything like that can work. These journal tattoos are super easy to put down. Now I am just laying a thin layer of gesso down because I know that the color sticks really do well with gesso and they move a whole lot more. They just easily break down into watercolor. Once my gesso was dry, I grabbed my color sticks and broke them down onto a ceramic palette and then added some water. This helps with some big washes and helps them break down really quickly. I do use them in their normal scribble form and then add water, but this is probably my favorite way to use them as they're very similar to watercolors in that aspect where my comfort zone is. And then I'm grabbing those beautiful soft pastels and the blending batons and I'm just blending in those bright and crazy colors that I absolutely love. I fell in love with the pastels very, very much and they are so super smooth and so yummy to use and they blend beautifully with the color sticks and I loved using them in conjunction with each other. They layer so well and the vibrancy gets more and more the more you layer them. So you can see me working those colors in and they also mix as well. So you'll see me come in with the blue over the yellow that I used with the pastel and that would blend in and make a really bright green. So you can layer these and mix them and I really believe that the gesso helps with that mixing process as well. You may not be a fan of gesso, normally I'm not, but I think it's really helped these colors to get their maximum potential and I'm basically just having a heap of fun mixing and mushing and smushing and getting all those colors down for the base of our monster. And I like them to be very mottled and bright and colorful as it's just the fun way. I did come in with some of my markers as well and I decided just to leave the markers be and to go with the rest of the stuff because I was just having way too much fun with the beautiful Making Faces range. These are the velvet pastels. They are super opaque and they are fun, very, very fun to pop down and then use your fingers to sort of almost finger paint with them. They are a very fun supply, I will say that. Another step that you can or cannot do, it is up to you, is adding some collage papers to your monster. I love to work with collage and I had a lot of collage papers left over and also some of the spare washi sheets from the Artemology range. So if you've got a few of those little scraps lying around, just grab them and rip them up and add some texture, some fun shapes. They could be scales, they could be spots, they could be hearts. You could go crazy with the scrap pieces just to add a little bit of texture and layering to your monster. And now I've just got out my License to Quill black pen, which is super black. I love how black this pen is, and I'm just lining up my bookmark so that I've got a nice black bold line. It really helps everything stand out when it comes to laminating and finishing them off. So you can see elements from the washi sheets there. I love these little sections in the sheets that don't really mean anything once you cut them up, and I love all the scribbles and things that Jane did on those washi sheets, so I wanted to add those into my monster just to give them some difference. And as you can see, I've taken those beautiful big eyes that Jane's done, and I like to turn them on their side, and that gives it a more emotive look. It makes him look a little bit sad, a little bit forlorn, and that's how I love my monsters to be. They look so innocent, so we've turned a really beautiful, sexy, bold, pretty girl eye, and if we just turn it slightly on its side, it becomes very, very emotive. And it's one of my favorite tricks to do with Jane's things so that they don't look so pretty girl and they do look very like sad monster-ish, and that is one of my favorite things to do with the Jane range, is to just make sad monsters out of them. I do love to sort of sketch around the eyes a bit and sort of make them a bit more my own. I'm coming in with a white gel pen just to make those eye bits pop off the page because they are see-through. I wanted to make sure that the color from the background didn't pop all the way through all the eye. So I'm just coming in with a black ballpoint pen and just doing some scribbling around the eyes just to make them less perfect. I'm all about the imperfect when it comes to my monsters, and this is the way that I do so. And I'm also giving him some facial features like a little nose and coming in and drawing the sort of sad looking mouth. Now I also cut up some little triangles, little strange triangles from a piece of scrap paper, and they are going to become our wonky monster teeth. I love adding teeth to my monsters. They look very goofy and very cute, and it's so simple to add just a couple of triangular pieces of white paper, and this was a scrap of a collage paper as well, and they made perfect wonky teeth for our monster. It is just so magical how simple shapes can make such cute creatures. Now I'm just coming in with the palette pastels again and just darkening up where that mouth is to give it a little bit of dimension. And then I also grabbed the color sticks and one of the magnetic paintbrushes and just grab a wet brush and paint straight from the actual color stick itself, so grabbing the pigment off the actual stick instead of rubbing it down, and that way it gave me a very subtle use of the color. I didn't want heaps and heaps of black, but I did want a light wash, and this was the perfect way to get exactly what I wanted. So I'm really happy with how the color sticks performed in that area. It was fantastic. So adding a little bit of highlight to the forehead and then coming back in with my palette pastels and just really pumping up and amping up that color. I love how they layer. That was one of my favorite parts about watching these supplies all together, and how they layered and how the vibrancy just got better and better and better, and adding a little bit of a cheek pop even though it's not perfect, and just really adding those dimensional colors to my thing, to my little monster. I loved it. I was going to put a quote on his body, but I decided it just didn't work. But I did grab out a stamp set and the squid ink pad and add a few little confetti dots to his body just to give him another extra dimension. There are so many cool things that you can do with these monsters.
Okay, we've now come to the part where all I really need to do now is to laminate these little babies. I created this one off camera, but I wanted to show you how they can be very different. I made this one slightly shorter so that if you don't want to do a huge amount, you can definitely do that. And I also put a little planner stamp at the top, so if she wanted to, you could pop this into your planner, and once she's laminated, I'll show you at the end that you can just add a sticky note that would come on and off, and she could be at the front of your planner with a to-do list or a grocery list or something that you can add there all the time. I love using laminated things to add sticky notes to, and I like to add a little bit of whimsy into my days, especially with my planner. And then these are just so fun to add some washi tape to and post them off to a friend. Now you can definitely make them a lot smaller than this. I made them quite large so you could see exactly what I was doing. I did back them as well, so they are double-sided. I just used some of the collage papers that are inside Jane's books. fabulous figures. And also on the back I also did some tea-dyed paper and just some of the free stickers in the Whimsical Girls book. So these are all good to go. You can definitely add photographs if you wanted to turn this into a tip-in for your journal, but I'm going to go and get my laminator heating up so I can laminate these and come back and show you what they look like with washi tape wrapped around them, which is the whole purpose of this video. Okay, so now what I've done is I've taken them to the laminator and they are really nice and sturdy now, so they are good to go. I've just trimmed the excess off and they look great. They always look so much prettier and brighter once they've been laminated. I don't know what it is, but I love laminating anything and everything. And all you do is you wrap it as if you would wrap one of the gift cards that you can get from the store, and just wrap your tape around these guys and they will hold it for you. And then if you want to pop this into your planner or your journal for yourself or send it as a gift, you could definitely do that. I love to do about 3 wraps basically because I don't want it to bulk up too much, and because it's nice and sturdy from the laminating, it just sits on there quite nicely. And you can always just pull it back up and then re-add your tape when you want to, and you can fill it with all sorts of tape. I like to use black and white graphic tape. It's my favorite to use, and I think it really pops on these guys because they're so bright and colorful. And then you have this graphic washi tape that's wrapping around them. It just makes me super happy to see that. And the other thing that I wanted to show you is that you could use these as sort of dashboards for your planners. You can definitely sort of add a post-it note to these guys, and then as soon as you're done you can definitely take that off and add all different ones. Because it is laminated, it will just have the stick to it, no worries. And I would normally pop this in the front of my my planner and write what I need to do on there, and it's always sitting at the front. It's definitely ready to go. And then if you want to have this, you can definitely, I'll actually go grab my planner now for you so you can see how the little ears pop out almost like a today marker. If you have one of those planners or journals that has the pocket on the front, they slip quite happily in there. Obviously our longer guy is a bit too tall for this, but she sits very happily in there. And then also if you have a planner that has you know, weekly pages or a monthly page, if you want to have your weekly spread, you can definitely stick it in there, and then all you see are those little ears, and it works as a today mark as well. So instead of just being a washi tape holder, you can definitely use this as a planner marker and then have your running to-do list on there, something you want to see very quickly. And I love using that kind of stuff in my day-to-day life. It makes those boring, mundane tasks of doing your groceries or doing stuff like that ready and willing and very, very cute. And you can always see a little kooky creature sort of popping out the top there. I will show you how this guy looks. Let's go to a blank week, and then he sits out there. His little ears tuck in there quite easily, and you've got some little poking ears out the top there as well. So that is it from me. I hope to have inspired you to make some fun little playful creatures, whether it be for your planner or whether it be for a snail mail gift or just for yourself to wrap some washi tape. This is a really unique way to have some washi on the go. If you're like me and you always want to have washi, washi is such a great thing. You can obviously make these guys to carry around and have several in your little back pockets of your journals. I normally have one on the go, and I normally have one in my planner as like a page marker. So So these guys will be super, super fun, and there are so many different variations. These are just two that I did for you guys to see what those beautiful journal tattoos can be. And obviously you can go the route of having beautiful girls in there, and instead of doing the kooky creatures, my heart just runs after the creatures, so I definitely had to make creatures today. But there's no reason why you couldn't take some of Jane's supplies and her face cards, even some of the swatch cards that came with your drama sticks and your pastels and things. They have beautiful artwork on it. You can definitely do the same kind of thing that I've done here today with the packaging alone. There is limitless stuff with the Making Faces range. It is so very unique with its take with the makeup. I absolutely love it, and I hope you've had a fun little time with me making some creatures for your planners and journals, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye!